True Talk Lounge. Fair use. Fair use. This is for educational use only. All right. So I got a clip at the end. Really just a bunch of different facts, man. You know, you got a lot of people who debate and debate and debate, but facts are facts. If you look around and you just stop walking and pay attention, you will see that it's true. 80% of the Bible, the scriptures, has come true. They will use the J word a lot. I'm not worrying about that. At this point, you should be able to chew the meat and spit out the bones. Know what you coming to get and take that. The rest you leave on the table. Shalom. Shalom. All praise to the Most High.
People like Eminem. I looked up his record just to see what Eminem's doing. One of the titles on his record is just called Evil. One is called Lucifer, and one is called Antichrist.
2024 has been full of surprises, especially with the activation of the beast system. Tucker Carlson and John Rich are talking about the Book of Revelation and the Mark of the Beast.
You won't be able to buy or sell unless you have the mark of the beast. You could replace the word beast with system.
July has been especially strange, and this week even more so. What bizarre events could happen next? Let us explore the hidden truths of 2024 that will most likely change the course of religions in the years to come. The beast in today's world. During a recent episode of Tucker Carlson's podcast on July 16th, the conversation took a deep dive into the topic of the beast mentioned in the Book of Revelation. Tucker Carlson and country music star John Rich had a thought-provoking discussion about how this biblical creature could represent a powerful group or system that starts significant global changes. John Rich suggested that this could relate to how global powers might want to keep tabs on everyone's financial activities through something like a central bank digital currency. This discussion brought up ideas about how our privacy could be compromised in the future, connecting back to age-old prophecies. They continued to unpack these ideas, marveling at how the writings of John the Apostle, penned centuries ago, could be so relevant in today's tech-driven world. The chat highlighted how the technology required to make these ancient predictions come true is now available. This includes things we use every day like smartphones and the internet. John Rich commented on how everything needed for these prophecies to come to life physically is already here, hinting that we might be entering a new era where these old predictions could start making more sense. Tucker found it fascinating that these prophecies, once considered far-fetched, are now seeming possible with current technology. He noted that the specifics of these prophecies are being mirrored in contemporary events, making it feel less like fiction and more like a real possibility. The conversation also shed light on a common lack of awareness among many Christians regarding what to watch for as signs of the end times, a theme central to their discussion. They talked about how modern advancements could potentially fulfill scary biblical predictions. One example given was the prophecy about a living image that could speak and even cause those who refuse to worship it to be eliminated, as detailed in Revelation 13:15. They speculated that advances in artificial intelligence and holographic technologies might one day make this a reality. Moreover, the scriptures describe a future where everyone must show their loyalty to a powerful leader known as the Antichrist through a special mark. This leader is depicted as a dictator with total control, demanding worship and committing terrible acts. This figure is supported by another leader, known as the second beast, who performs miracles to deceive people into following the first beast. This duo could introduce a system where no one can buy or sell anything without having the mark, essentially controlling the economy. The detailed discussion in the podcast covered the roles of these prophetic figures and the conditions necessary for their rise to power, including how modern technology like microchips could be used to enforce this control. They pondered whether such a futuristic scenario was becoming more likely with each technological advancement. Tucker and John Rich's conversation was a blend of awe and concern, mixing theological interpretations with modern-day technological possibilities. They concluded that understanding these signs and staying informed about technological and global developments could be crucial in recognizing how close these ancient prophecies might be to becoming a reality. The episode was an eye-opener for many listeners, blending ancient biblical prophecies with modern-day realities in a way that made the old text seem applicable and imminent. It prompted a reflection on the direction technology is taking us and how it could potentially intersect with profound prophetic events from the Bible. The discussion was a call to be vigilant and thoughtful about the implications of our rapidly advancing technological landscape. In the dramatic passages of Revelation 13, a formidable creature emerges from the ocean, described as having 7 heads and 10 horns, each crowned and bearing blasphemous names. This creature, resembling a leopard but with the feet of a bear and the mouth of a lion, is granted immense power by the dragon, identified by many as Satan. This beast's image has been interpreted in various ways. Some envision it as a statue or an image that seems to come alive and speak. Others think it could be something more high-tech, like a supercomputer, a hologram, a human clone, a cyborg, or even an artificial intelligence with exceptional capabilities. After Tucker and John talked about how today's technology might fit into old prophecies, let's look more into these tech advancements. Digital economy and the mark. Today's technology could allow for the creation of a mark as described in Revelation, which would be required to participate in the global economy, essentially buying and selling digitally. There are countless ways this could be implemented, and numerous trials of such technology are already underway. This mark might be applied to a person's right hand or forehead, acting as a dark mirror to divine actions, since Satan often tries to imitate what is holy. In ancient times, it was common to use letters with numerical values, which is why the number associated with the beast's name carries such weight. The Antichrist, a figure closely linked to the beast, is portrayed as a charismatic leader, surpassing his peers in influence and mirroring his father, the devil. Initially, he might appear benevolent, like an angel of light, but he will eventually show his true, dark nature. Importantly, the Bible specifies that the mark of the beast will not come into existence before the tribulation period begins. It will only surface when the Antichrist takes control of the world, marking the midpoint of a 7-year period of tribulation. Therefore, any current speculation about such a mark existing today should be seen as a preliminary warning, not the actual fulfillment of prophecy. For Christians, the scripture in Ephesians advising believers to redeem the time is a call to action. This is a time for celebration of faith, for making positive contributions to society, and for spreading the gospel message while waiting for the fulfillment of God's promises. Many wonder if we are living in what the Bible refers to as the end times. According to the scriptures, the last days could be a period extending over 2,000 years from when the prophecy was first considered fulfilled at Pentecost. Therefore, Christians are encouraged to always be prepared for Christ's return, though it is not something expected to happen immediately. The Bible is rich with predictions, featuring 735 prophecies spread across its text, of which 81% have reportedly already come true. These prophecies, many set centuries ago, suggest a high likelihood that the remaining predictions will also occur. Most of these yet-to-be-fulfilled prophecies deal with the return of Jesus and the events that follow. Before Jesus returns, about 20 specific prophecies still need to come true. Believers are encouraged to stay alert and mindful of the world around them, watching for these prophecies to unfold as Jesus instructed. Keeping up with global events and understanding how they relate to biblical signs is crucial for preparing for what's to come. As we continue to see rapid advancements in technology, it's important for those of faith to consider how these developments might align with the prophecies described in the Bible. Often, technological progress mirrors the prophetic events detailed in the scriptures. By remaining informed and discerning, believers can identify the signs of the times and respond appropriately. With the approach of the end of all things, as mentioned in 1 Peter, believers are urged to stay level-headed and focused on prayer. This mindset is vital for maintaining clear, reasoned, and specific communication with God, ensuring that actions and prayers are aligned with divine intentions. Jesus should be at the forefront of our lives and our communities. His teachings and examples should guide every aspect of our ministry and personal actions, ensuring that everything we do reflects his love and teachings. The guidance from Colossians to do everything in the name of Jesus highlights that all our actions should demonstrate our dependence on him and our gratitude towards God. Often we think of our world leaders, presidents, prime ministers, as the primary decision makers. But consider the possibility that these leaders are sometimes influenced by forces beyond our usual understanding. Historically, leaders like King Herod, who ordered the massacre of children during the time of Jesus, or Pharaoh during the time of Moses, made decisions under the influence of dark spiritual forces. This pattern isn't confined to the distant past. It extends into today's political arenas. Many decisions made by contemporary leaders could be swayed by similar forces, impacting our lives in direct or indirect ways. This perspective isn't about conspiracy theories, but about recognizing the spiritual dimensions that can influence global events. As we think about prophecy and leaders, consider how unseen forces might affect big decisions. Spiritual forces in leadership. Leaders' decisions often seem to lean more towards harmful intentions than godly ones. These leaders are not randomly chosen. Rather, they're selected by darker forces, which then guide their choices. According to the book of Revelation, during the final days, the leaders of powerful nations will make harmful agreements. The author John recorded visions so striking that an angel repeatedly urged him to write them down. John was shown heaven during these visions, hearing heavenly music and choirs. The main theme of Revelation is the return of Jesus Christ to earth. This event is highlighted 318 times across the Bible, making it the most often mentioned forecast of the future. The book details the events leading up to, during, and after Jesus' return. There's been a lot of talk about prophecies regarding former President Donald Trump. People wonder if these prophecies are real or just tales from the past, like those from prophets Elijah, Isaiah, and John. A lot of discussions on social media revolve around a recent event concerning Trump, where many referenced a specific prophecy. According to Pastor Steve Calante during an interview, Brandon Briggs had predicted an attack on Trump months before it actually happened. During a public speech, a bullet narrowly missed being fatal, but injured Trump's ear. Quickly, Secret Service agents reacted to protect him. Briggs mentioned seeing Trump deeply affected by this incident, which led to a profound spiritual change in him, leading many to believe he had a significant religious awakening. This raises questions about whether prophecies are still a real thing. To prophesy means to deliver a message from God, carried out by someone known as a prophet. Although many think prophecy is about predicting the future, it's more about conveying messages from God, since only God knows what's yet to come. In biblical times, prophets like Jeremiah gained trust by making short-term accurate predictions that proved their longer-term messages. For example, Jeremiah warned that Babylon would conquer Judah, contrasting with another prophet, Hananiah, who falsely claimed God told him the opposite. Jeremiah predicted Hananiah's death within a year, which happened, proving his reliability. Today, there's an ongoing discussion about whether the gift of prophecy is still active, or if it ceased after the initial phase of Christianity. The biblical book Deuteronomy lays down clear markers for recognizing a genuine prophet. It states that a true prophet should guide people toward God, not away from him, and their predictions must materialize. If a prophet's forecasts fail to occur, they are labeled as false. This guideline helps people discern whether someone is truly conveying messages from God. Jesus cautioned that deceptive leaders and prophets would attempt to mislead even the most faithful individuals. Matthew 24:23-27. He highlighted the importance of being deeply acquainted with scriptural truths as a primary defense against such deceptions. Anyone committed to studying the Bible can identify misleading doctrines. Jesus illustrated this point by saying you can judge someone's character by their actions, similar to how you can assess a tree by looking at its fruit. Matthew 12:33. This analogy suggests that just as fruit can reveal the health and kind of a tree, a person's actions can reflect their inner values and integrity. When assessing spiritual leaders, it's crucial to listen to their teachings about Jesus. Check if their messages align with the fundamental teachings of the gospel, and observe if their conduct exemplifies Christian virtues. Specific books of the Bible, such as Galatians, 1 Peter, and Jude, are particularly focused on combating and clarifying false doctrines within the Christian community. These texts are invaluable for believers seeking to safeguard themselves against erroneous teachings. Thorough knowledge of the Bible is essential because falsehoods are often cloaked in appearances that seem trustworthy. Deceptive individuals and teachings can initially appear correct and moral, as they often mimic the truth closely. This mimicry is a tactic used by deceitful forces to lure believers away from genuine doctrine. The New Testament repeatedly warns about the risk of being led astray by such appearances and underscores the need for vigilance and deep scriptural knowledge. In addition to recognizing false prophets, understanding their motives can also provide insight. Often, those who propagate untruths do so to gain personal power, influence, or financial advantage. This self-serving behavior stands in contrast to the selflessness and humility demonstrated by true, biblical prophets who sought to serve God and lead people according to His will. Looking at true and false prophecies, let's see how prophetic guidance has shaped history. Recognizing deceptive leaders. Moreover, historical examples in the Bible show the consequences of following false prophets. From the devastation of nations to the disillusionment of followers, the outcomes serve as stark reminders of the dangers of deviating from true prophetic guidance. By examining these examples, believers can learn not only to spot false prophets, but also to understand the potential impacts of heeding their advice. To further cultivate the ability to discern truth from falsehood, engaging in regular Bible study, prayer, and fellowship with other believers is advised. These practices help to strengthen one's spiritual understanding and intuition, making it easier to recognize when teachings do not align with biblical truth. Additionally, seeking guidance from more experienced and knowledgeable members of the Christian community can provide additional layers of insight and confirmation. Lastly, it's important for believers to remain humble and teachable. The path of faith is continuous, and maintaining an open heart and mind is key to growing in understanding and staying aligned with God's truth. By fostering a community where questions and discussions are encouraged, believers can support each other in their spiritual growth and guard against the subtleties of deception that might otherwise go unnoticed. The Bible is truly unlike any other history book because it's filled to the brim with predictions about the future. Out of its many chapters, a quarter of them include predictions, totaling up to 735. This really turns the Bible into a book centered on prophecy, guiding readers from the beginning all the way to the end. Historical accuracy is notable here, as a whopping 81% or 596 of these predictions have already come true. Many of these prophecies were laid out centuries before they happened, making the accuracy of these fulfilled prophecies a point of confidence for the belief that the remaining 19% will also unfold as predicted. Up to this point, the Bible has been spot on with every prediction that has reached the time for its fulfillment. The prophecies that haven't yet come to pass are mostly about the return of Jesus and the events that will follow, with around 20 specific predictions expected to occur before this significant event. Observers are keenly watching for these signs to manifest. As we look forward to the future, the Bible points to several significant prophecies yet to unfold. It talks about the revelation of the ultimate antagonist and the appearance of two key witnesses who will play a pivotal role in the unfolding events. The scriptures also foretell the three harshest judgments, which are detailed in the book of Revelation. A major prophesied event is the confrontation between Jesus and the Antichrist in what is known as the Battle of Armageddon, a battle of epic proportions. Another prophecy involves the seal of God versus the infamous mark of the beast, a concept that has intrigued and worried many through the ages. The Bible describes the creation of a new heaven and the heavenly city, known as the New Jerusalem, as depicted in Revelation 21. The episode, often referred to as the Trump miracle, showcased a noticeable shift in Donald Trump's demeanor. His unexpected walk into the convention hall was out of the ordinary, as candidates typically reserve their appearance for the final night of events. This particular visit was not only surprising, but also emotionally charged, coming just 2 days after an assassination attempt on him. You could see the change in his usual demeanor. His face showed emotional strain, a departure from his typically defiant attitude. The presence of a bandage on his ear served as a subtle yet powerful reminder of his recent encounter with death, highlighting his vulnerability. Experiences that brush with death can profoundly alter a person, and this change is not rare. It's something many have undergone after experiencing what some might call a miraculous escape. Historically, leaders have recognized the importance of acknowledging and celebrating victories. For example, after leading the Israelites out of Egypt, Moses orchestrated a song of victory to celebrate their escape from Pharaoh's reign. This moment of celebration followed the miraculous event where God intervened to drown the pursuing Egyptian army in the Red Sea, ensuring that the Israelites would never have to flee from Pharaoh again. Such moments of celebration act as a reward and recognition for overcoming significant challenges. Could the beast system really be in place? Or is this just another conspiracy theory to keep us distracted? Is there something deeper that Tucker Carlson and John Rich are uncovering? Share your thoughts in the comments and don't forget to like and subscribe for more.
Ancient Book of Enoch is a book that was quite popular during the first 700 years of church history, but then faded from sight. Nobody republished it.
Quotes the Book of Enoch and says that Enoch gave prophecy. And the church fathers talk about this Book of Enoch that he wrote that has pre-flood history to it.
Enoch is a really fascinating character in the scriptures. We read about him in the book of Genesis in the 5th chapter, that he walked with God and he was not, for God took him.
This ancient book warns of horrifying disasters and punishments waiting for us. It uncovers hidden truths about our origins that the Catholic Church never wanted us to see. The stories inside show a darker side of what we're taught, filled with violence and despair. Why is Enoch, a crucial but hidden figure, missing from our usual teachings? Join us. Let's dig deep and expose the chilling secrets this cryptic old text holds. A forbidden text. The Bible itself, far from being just divine guidance, is full of puzzling and often violent stories, showing not just hope, but also themes of violence, injustice, and darkness. This makes us wonder, why was the Book of Enoch left out? And who was Enoch surrounded by so much mystery? Enoch appears in various religious traditions, but is rarely mentioned in regular church teachings, despite his significant role. In the Old Testament and the Jewish Tanakh, Enoch is known as the 7th patriarch after Adam, the father of Methuselah, and the great-grandfather of Noah. A key verse in Genesis says, "And Enoch walked with God, and he was no more, for God took him away." This has led to much speculation about what it means to walk with God and how he left Earth. Many think Enoch did not die as most do, but was taken alive into heaven by God. In Islamic tradition, Enoch is known as Idris, honored in the Quran as a prophet and a man of truth and righteousness. Like Enoch, Idris is said to have been raised to heaven, confirming his high status with the divine. Outside the Quran, stories of Idris highlight his wisdom, his contributions to religious and scientific knowledge, and his leading role among prophets. But this isn't the end of the story. The mysteries surrounding Enoch continue to capture the imagination of those who seek to understand his true significance. As we explore these ancient texts, we must ask ourselves, what else is waiting to be uncovered, and how might it change our understanding of history? Many scholars now look to Enoch's writings to understand humanity's earliest stories, especially the special relationship between God and Enoch, who was chosen as his messenger. The Ethiopian Orthodox Church also has several unique books not found in other branches of Christianity, marking it as one of the oldest and most unchanged forms of the faith. Today, historians often turn to Africa to study these preserved parts of Christian history. The oldest version of the Book of Enoch, for instance, is kept in Ge'ez, an ancient Ethiopian language. For linguists, translating Ge'ez is like translating Latin, making it somewhat straightforward. As a result, the European versions of the Book of Enoch are considered authentic and unchanged. It shows humans as capable of great good or great evil, with divine guidance leading them toward righteousness. Ethiopian Orthodox scholars see these forces of good and evil as natural parts of life, with our duty being to fight evil and strive for goodness. They argue that its unique descriptions of angels and the apocalypse suggest questionable origins. As debates over the Bible's contents unfold, We wonder what truths were left out and why.